Welcome back to another episode of India and Stuff. There is no video today, so if you are just listening, feel free to keep on listening. I will be posting this to YouTube though, just in case my YouTube listeners wanted to catch the vibe this week. It's been a minute. I got a little behind on my podcast every week era. At least that was my goal. But in the summertime, I've just realized things get a little extra crazy. So I think that my plan right now is to just do audio podcasts for the rest of the summer. There's a couple reasons for that. Mostly, we don't really have AC right now, and I'm just sweaty, and putting on makeup and making sure I look decent is like a whole thing. But also, more specifically, a lot of the time to do the video portion of the podcast, it takes certain camera gear, and my husband and I have a lot of like photography and film shoots that we do for work. So some days it's just like a little extra hassle to make sure we have an SD card cleared and the camera's ready and one of us is around so that the other one can use the gear. So it's a whole thing. But all that to say, we're back this week with a fun, silly update episode. I'm just going to share a little bit of my summer so far, our surprise camping trip, some really, really fun plans that we have, some travel plans we've got in the works, as well as a summer bucket list with you guys. And I did have to re-record the summer bucket list episode because it was like a whole thing, but I did it outside and my neighbor was there and it was just like, I was like, they're watching me make this podcast. It's so silly. But without further ado, thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Creatives, are you struggling to keep up with all your clients' needs? Maybe you feel like you're swimming through emails, DMs, texts, and feel like there's no way to keep communication together. Not to mention keeping track of payments, invoices, contracts, and having to freak out at 2 a.m. because you forgot to email a lead client back. Yikes! My entire workflow shifted when I stopped DIYing my approach and switched to HoneyBook. They are a powerhouse CRM, client relations management tool, if you didn't know, that acts as a coworker you've always needed. HoneyBook helps with invoicing, payment tracking, contracts for every session under the sun, scheduling, lead forms, automations, and streamlining communication to one stop for you. Not to mention your clients will notice the professional difference you bring to the table with the HoneyBook tools. If you're ready to step up your business and feel peace of mind with your client's approach, I have an exclusive offer for you. As a thank you for listening to the India and Stuff show, take 50% off your first year of HoneyBook by going to share.honeybook.com/IndiaJadePhoto. Or if you're like me and that's way too much to remember, just tap the URL in the show notes. Now back to the show. Okay, so looking at this summer, I'm already like, whoa, I did not think it was going to be that busy of a summer because in Ohio, it gets really, really hot. So it kind of varies with weddings each year. But this year, I just didn't have a ton of summer weddings. Most of mine were in the spring or in the fall. So I was like, okay, like it won't be that crazy of a summer. But now it's shaping up to be very busy, very full, and honestly, I love it. Like, I love keeping my schedule full, even if that fullness is dinner with a friend, walk around a park, those kind of, like, I like to schedule in rest and Sabbath and fun tasks like that. So when I look at a completely blank schedule, it's hard for me to come up with those ideas on my own. So I've been starting to schedule them in, and I thought that was kind of a good way to look forward to different things without it feeling overwhelming or like there's something to do every single day. But yeah, this summer's off to a crazy start. At the time of recording this, it's mid-June, and we have just been kind of jumping in. I really am kind of shocked that it's June. It's like, I don't know, that time is always moving so quickly and it's hard for me to like understand that. So it's crazy, but we're here and we're very exciting. We're very exciting. Also, if you wonder why my voice sounds like I smoke 6 packs a day, I went camping with my husband, which I'll share about in just a second. And I don't know if it was a combo of like sleeping on the ground for 2 nights or like, I guess I had a cigar. Like, I don't know. Does that make me a smoker? But my voice sounds crazy. It sounds like Roz from Monsters, Inc. You forgot your paperwork. Whatever. It's fine. I kind of like it. I feel like that episode of Friends where Phoebe's like, oh, I got my sexy voice. And she's like singing in Central Perk and she's like, my sticky, sticky shoe. Okay, anyway, that sounds like, that's how I sound right now. And I'm kind of loving it. Okay, so this summer's crazy, but it reminded me of an even crazier summer that I have to like recap for you guys. Okay, this summer was the summer of 2019. Insanity, everyone. I graduated from college. I went to CCAD, Columbus College of Art and Design in Columbus, Ohio, and I had like a few months prior, I had met Ian, right? So I'm like in my little honeymoon relationship phase. I've got my rose-colored glasses on, but I'm also thinking about what the Lord has for me in this season and what I'm going to do next. So even though we were meeting, talking, dating, I was also talking, it sounds so bad. I was also talking to someone else. Dun, dun, dun. I was talking to an employer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So that's about 3 hours away from Columbus. So all this was kind of happening simultaneously. And Ian, being an amazing trooper that he is, was like, yeah, this is fine. If you like go to Pittsburgh, that's fine. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, I know we just started dating, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I graduate in May of 2019. And I accepted a job at the CCO in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was going to be their graphic designer and kind of creative person. And so that all happened. And then I'm pretty sure it was like a few days later, I loaded up everything and went to Israel. And it was on this like tour trip and you got selected and you had to apply. But basically it's called Covenant Journey. And if you apply for this tour and you're like a college age student or around that age, recently graduated, and they select you, you go on this all expenses paid tour of Israel, like housing, food, tours, tour guide, buses, transportation, all of that for $500, plane ticket as well. So that you just pay $500 and you leave from like New York City. And so I had applied and I got selected and I was like, what the heck? So I was like, can't pass this up. So I went to Israel right after I graduated. Then I came back and I had my first CCO training thing because the CCO is like a campus ministry. So if you're in the ministry world at all or church culture at all, there's a lot of folks who go to seminary, which is like pastor school. And so they take a lot of, they just have a high value of education and theology and learning in that format. So a lot of these theologians and people who have come from seminary all get together and we do like 2 weeks of training for the new staff, which was me, even though I did not go to seminary and I'm not a strong theologian. I guess we're all theologians, but whatever. So I go to this new training with the new staff, and then the second portion, they invite all the staff into it. So I was so busy coming back and forth from packing up everything, going to Israel, coming back, moving out of my apartment the next day. Insane. I remember packing everything up, and it was the week of Pride, the Pride parade, and some guy stumbled into my apartment while I was moving stuff, and he was decked out in the rainbow stuff, and he was like, "Is this the bathroom?" He was about to pee in my apartment. I was like, "This is not the public restroom, sir. Have a good day." It was just so funny to me. But anyway. So I go to the CCO training and I'm not even kidding. I hadn't even looked at my email to know what it was. I didn't know the scope of it. I was like, oh, I just have to be at this address in Pennsylvania on this day. Great. That's a day after I get back from Israel. I don't know what was going on in my head. I was like, this is fine. This is fine. And so I literally pack just the minimum. I pack my laptop and a couple clothing items because I was like, oh, I think it's a few days long. I thought it was a week long thing. And I go and I get there and it's a college campus and I got there way after we were supposed to be there. I had no idea. And I'm trying to call people and I look at my email for the first time to see, what time we were supposed to be there. And I had told them I'd be late. And I'm calling people and I'm why are we at a college dorm? I thought this was a business meeting. I just stay with my friend who lives in Pittsburgh. No, this was an hour north of Pittsburgh at Grove City College. And this was in a dorm and we were staying for 2 weeks. And I guess in the email, they were yeah, you're going to bring bedding, you're going to bring toiletries, you're going to bring snacks, like you're going to cook meals together, you're going to learn and have these intensive theological trainings every day from like 9 to 5, and then cook group meals together, and then stay in a room, like a college dorm with like 4 other like people on staff. And I was just like, that's all fine. I was just not prepared. I was like, what? Like, I just got off a plane. What's happening? Like, I had no idea. So it was very funny. I remember getting there and just sleeping on the cold plastic, like college dorm mattress that night and texting Ian. I was like, okay, so I guess I did this wrong. I need like pillows, blankets, food, more clothes, like hair, shampoo, whatever. And it was just hilarious. So that happened, and I had to leave halfway through that to go back to Ohio to shoot a wedding, and then I came back. And then somewhere in that same summer, I shot a destination wedding in Kentucky. I think that was right before this excursion in Pennsylvania. So then I come back home. Training's finally over for now. There's like 2 big portions of training. So the first portion was over. So I came back home, and my home was literally like my apartment that I was moving out of, and my friend was still there. So crashed with her for a few days. And then Ian's family had Mohican, which is this like camping trip they do every summer with their extended family, all that stuff. So I go up there for a few nights, and then it's time to go to California. And this is my favorite part of the summer, because Israel, I had Pennsylvania, Mohican, Kentucky, and then California. And California was for my friend's wedding, and I was a bridesmaid in her wedding. She's amazing. Destination wedding in Yosemite, California. Could not have picked a better place, a more beautiful spot on the planet. So I go to this, and because I had booked my ticket before I had really like met Ian, or maybe shortly after, like it was like a no plus ones kind of wedding, because as it should be, it's like a destination wedding, and you can't like deal with extra costs of all these people. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this wedding. And Ian, who used to live in Los Angeles, was like, oh, I love California. I love Yosemite. What if we make it a whole trip? What if I drive out there, meet you at the airport? Because I was going a few days early. I didn't know what I was doing. And he's like, what if we go hiking in Yosemite? We have some fun. And then I'll just drop you off at the wedding festivities and go hang out with my friends in Los Angeles, which is like 3 hours away. And this man loves a good road trip. So I'm like, okay, if you want to drive 32 hours from Ohio to Reno, Nevada to pick me up from the airport, and then we'll hang out in Yosemite, be my guest. So that's what we did. So I flew in, I got in at midnight. I remember this so well. I got in at midnight to Reno, and he was there, and he had gone, slept in a Walmart parking lot. He had firewood for us, and we drove through the night from midnight till about 3 or 4 a.m. to get to Yosemite, because you have to go slow, and it's a lot of curves. So we drove all through the night. It was pitch black. I was kind of dozing in and out. We were listening to music. It was super fun. And then we got there, and we had to check in. And it's like they switched their camping system, and I think it's now switched back, which is a huge praise, because this camping system sucked. Basically, it was like first come, first serve, and then you check in your tent. And so we were waiting by the ranger station, and it was around 6 a.m. before anyone started coming up. And she was like, hey, it's a digital lottery system now. You have to be online, and you insert your name. And if we draw your name, you have 24 hours to show up at your campsite, or it goes to someone else. And so we're like, we just essentially drove and flew across the country. And the last time Ian had been there, it was not this way. You just waited, and you pay, $20 and you set up your tent. But now they change it. And we're not only we need a place to sleep ASAP. We're tired. We're exhausted. But also there's no service in Yosemite Valley. You have to go into one of their restaurants and get Wi-Fi. So it's this is a very impractical way of doing things, that we were there's no real way. We're not just gonna sit around in Wi-Fi while we're in this gorgeous national park. We paid to get in, all this stuff, and then you're just gonna say we can't we don't even know if we can sleep here tonight. We'll have to find something else. And then for tomorrow night, we wouldn't know for 24 hours. So anyway, we were kind of like, all right, better ask for forgiveness than permission. So we set up a tent really quickly in the very back of the campsite because we were just exhausted at this point. Like we were like dozing in and out. So it's like 6 a.m. We set up the tent, get a few hours of shut-eye. Around 8:15, the rangers come around and like literally knock on the tent. And they were like, hey, you don't have a registration, like, blah, what's your name? And we should have, in hindsight, given fake names because Ian gave his real name, and I think they put us on a blacklist because of that. So anyway, I have a whole blog post called How to Get Kicked Out of Yosemite about this topic because it was like way more involved than I don't want to get to the whole thing today. But basically, we were not allowed to camp there, so we just took our 2 hours of sleep, hiked this crazy trail, had some fun, and then that night slept outside of the park in dispersed camping, which was very dangerous, actually. That was a creepy night. It was like right on the side of the road. We're like, okay. They're like, this is your spot. This is dispersed camping. Set up your tent wherever. I was like, okay. But we were fine. Then the next day, did a huge trail and then snuck in the campground anyway and snuck into a shower, and it was a whole thing. Not together, by the way. I snuck into a shower to get clean. And I like watched someone, I felt like a super spy. I like watched someone type in the shower code because you can pay a lot of money to stay in like a yurt and you get like showers and bathroom access. So I like watched someone type in their code and followed them in. And I was like, I am a super spy. I just did that. I'm showering in the wilderness and I didn't even pay for it. Anyway, camping's fun. We love it. But so that was the Yosemite trip. And then we went to, like, Ian dropped me off at the wedding. We had a great time there, even though it was not a +1 situation because he was around. My friend was so generous enough to let him stay, not stay during the festivities. It was like a week-long celebration, but stay for the actual wedding night, which is also another hilarious story for another time. It involves a lot of throw up and me missing the whole reception. And guess what? I wasn't the one throwing up. Okay. Anyway, so graduated, go to Israel, go to Pennsylvania for training, come back home to shoot a wedding, go to Kentucky to shoot a destination wedding, come back to Pennsylvania, go to Mohican for camping, then fly to California for this wedding. Then I come home, and I remember this day so vividly. I moved officially, I think, out of my apartment, packed up everything to move to Pittsburgh officially. And while we're moving, I'm like, crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like there goes my college apartment. And Ian's amazing. So he's like, I'm going to drive behind you the whole way. I'll help you move into Pittsburgh. We'll be good. As I'm driving, I'm 10 minutes down the road from Columbus on my 3-hour commute. My tire pops and I get a flat and I have to pull over. And Ian swings out to help fix my tire and call my dad, all this stuff. So we finally make it to Pittsburgh that night. I get moved in officially, and I was staying in this house with like 5 adults. It was like kind of a ministry house vibe. And more on that later. But I put all my stuff in. It was on the 3rd floor. We're hot, sweaty. It was just a whole thing. And then the next day, because I'm insane, the next day I started my new job. And I like get all ready to go. I walk in. My time was 8:30 to 4:30. And it was fine. But it was just the most I guess what I'm learning from all of this is I need more margin in my life with things like this. I've definitely improved since this time. But I literally just walk in and I was like, they were like, how was your summer? And I was like, oh, I was just in Yosemite this week, And then I was here and there and blah, blah, in Israel. And it's just the funniest thing. So that was my summer of insanity. And then I moved in Pittsburgh, obviously, and stayed there. And then 8 months later, COVID happened and I got engaged. It was crazy. But I say all that to say this summer is not even that crazy. So it's fine. I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I think that one was so insane because of all the transitions, new relationship, moving out of graduating college, moving out of my apartment with my friend, big international trip, lots of job training, being, saying goodbye to friends when you're in their wedding. It's kind of it doesn't mean you're not friends anymore. It just means life's going to change. And in this case, my friend was moving to Minnesota after the wedding. So it was this whole thing. lots of feelings. But it was a good summer, very full, very crazy. And it made me think of this summer. So this summer so far, I've shot a number of weddings. I have one today, actually. I'm recording this right now, and then I have to go shoot a wedding today. It's a 10-hour day, so it's going to be a big one. But lots of weddings, lots of engagement sessions. I'm like so, like, not behind or overwhelmed with editing, but just so kind of like shocked at how much editing I do in the week. And then every weekend, there's just more that gets tacked on. I knew this was my busiest year ever with business, so I like kind of knew that would be the case, but it's always just a surprise, you know? I'm like, okay, editing 3 engagement sessions and maybe even a whole wedding every week. And then the weekend, I've got 2 more engagement sessions, 1 more wedding. So then it just kind of sets me back again. It's like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back kind of thing. 2 sessions forward, 5 sessions back. But it's going to be good. It's been fun already. We're trying to make ways to make it extra exciting. Ian has a new job, client situation, so it's kind of just demanding more of his time, which means less vacation days. So we had to be strategic about what we're doing with those. So that brings me to my fun stuff. This week, I guess in the past 2 weeks, we booked a lot of things. I'm very excited about them. My bookkeeper for my business and my credit card people are probably like, what is happening? But I'll go in chronological order. First of all, I booked a trip to New York City in a few weeks to visit my friend Grace and one of our friends, Shayla, who's coming in from Australia. So I'm really excited about that. That is going to be awesome. It was just like a last minute thing. And that's one of my favorite things about owning my own business is that I can set my own schedule. And even though it gets crazy town, I can decide to work extra hard, work overtime, so I can take a couple days off and go travel and go visit a friend and go on a quick spontaneous trip. So New York's coming up. And then I've got not a ton of travel after that. We're going to Kentucky in September to do an elopement. And then I'm going to California. I'm going to be in Los Angeles and Orange County area to shoot a wedding in September. Then nothing going on internationally in October, just a million weddings here. Then in November, it gets crazy town. In November, I forgot, I'm going to Banff, Canada in August. Okay, I forgot about Banff. Then, and that's a styled shoot, which I'm really excited about. And if you're listening to this and you're in that area, come model for us. It's going to be amazing. Then in November, this is what we decided to do with our vacation time. We wanted to maximize it since Ian's time is a little more restricted now. So we're going to go to Europe over Thanksgiving for many reasons. Mostly it uses the least amount of vacation days and we get the most time off around that time. Another reason is it's way less expensive and, well, not maybe less expensive, but just less crowded than going in the summer or peak tourism season. But then also, we don't have to be around for Thanksgiving. So we can just ditch all the, family demands. Sometimes it's like, this time and this time, this time. We can be like, okay, bye. We are gone. Bonjour. So I'm on my Duolingo learning French right now because we booked tickets flying into Milan, Italy. Then we'll do some time there in Lake Como. Then we're going up to do an engagement session for Ian's friends in Zurich, Switzerland. Then we're going to do the overnight train through the mountains to Paris, France. And I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about it. And we'll do some days in Paris. And then we're going to see one of our favorite artists, Hazlitt, perform in Paris. The concert was 25 euros each, which compared to the $6,000 Taylor Swift tickets I was eyeballing, this is so much better use of money. And then we'll fly home. And so it will be cold. It'll be like end of November, but it's also going to be around our anniversary, so our 4-year anniversary celebration. And I've got some connections and models out there I want to work with for photography. So it's going to be this like win-win-win-win-win kind of situation. I'm very excited about it, even though it's going to be chilly. And I know in my head, Lake Como is going to be, blue and beautiful and there's green in the background. Maybe it won't be. I don't know, but it's going to be great either way. So we booked that recently and I'm very pumped about it. And now, not now, but backtracking just a smidge, we were like, okay, those are the trips coming up. Ian's not coming with me on most of those, actually, just that main big one and to LA. The other ones are like for my business. But we were like, it's summertime. We really want to get out a little bit. But we've got, not a lot of vacation time since we're doing this trip. What can we do? And so I'm going to coin this term. It's called secret camping. So I coined the term secret camping because 2 weeks ago, I was like on the national parks and the recreation websites looking for campsites. And I was like, you know what, Ian, keep this weekend clear. Let's go camping, but I'm not going to tell you where. If you can keep this weekend clear from Friday to Sunday, like Friday after work to Sunday night, I will book us a spot, we'll go camping, and then, it'll be a blast. And he's like, deal. And I'm so bad at keeping secrets. After I booked the spot, I was like, do you want to know? Do you want to know where? Do you want to know where? And he was like, no, like, you're so bad at keeping secrets. So I booked us the spot, and I booked us a spot in, I'm saying that so much, the Monongahela Forest in West Virginia. I've never been there. It looked beautiful. And it's pretty remote, but it's not a national park. It's just a national forest. So you don't have to pay to get in. You just have to pay for your overnight tent spot, which I understand. I think a lot of, money, it takes a lot of money to upkeep recreational areas like that and national forests and national parks and stuff. But I'm also like, what do our tax dollars go to? And I'm willingly sleeping in the earth. Like, I'm willingly sleeping outside. So why am I paying for this? But anyway, so I reserved the spot, and this was all this last weekend. So Ian gets off work and he's like, what do I pack? And I'm like, we're going to pack like we're going tent camping. Pack like you normally would if we went, anywhere else. It's the summertime. We don't need coats. And so he packs that way. We get in the car, and I hide the GPS while I'm plugging in the address, hit start, and we start taking off. And so it was just so fun because, like, there was the element of surprise. We also left around 7:30 on a Friday, which was too late. Like, we didn't mean to leave that late, but it was about a 5-hour drive. I thought it was like a 3.5-hour drive, but it was like 5 hours because I forgot, like, mountains, you have to go slow. So I like plug it in, and it says arriving at like 12:15 p.m. or something. And Ian's like, what? Where are we going? I was like, oh, you'll see. So we got there pretty late, thankfully found our campsite pretty easily. And oh my goodness, you guys, the stars were beautiful. This was pretty remote. Like, it was about an hour and 15 minutes from cell service or the nearest town, like big town. And I guess it's a lot of like, it was at Seneca Shadows Campground, if you're interested. I guess a lot of hikers go there, climbers go there, boulder people. So, like, it's really popular to climb the Seneca Rocks, and you could see them, like these peaky mountains, from your tent, from your campsite. And I guess that's something that I'm not used to around the Midwest area. I don't know if West Virginia is considered the Midwest, but it was just really cool to be in that environment. It was very chill. It was not overcrowded at all, which I loved. The only store in town, there was like 2 small back-to-back general stores and restaurants. That they had like 1 block of cream cheese for sale and like 2 packs of hot dogs for sale. Like, it was the cutest thing. One of them had been there for over 150 years. They're like, this is the oldest store in the state of West Virginia. It was just that kind of vibe, and it was so nice and refreshing. We went on a 6-mile round trip hike on Saturday to see the chimney tops, which is the like mountaintops. It was like giving the Rockies. No, that's the wrong one. I don't know. It was the Smokies. It was giving Tennessee. Beautiful, green, rolling mountains. Mountain mama, I get it. It was just lovely. We ate peanut butter jellies up there. Then we hiked back down. It was a lot of switchbacks, though. It was a very challenging hike, even though, like, it shouldn't have been. Like, we've done Yosemite. We've done Joshua Tree. We've done Acadia. Like, this shouldn't have been that challenging, but it was. I think we're also just kind of out of shape. And then we came down, and one of the rangers told us about like a swimming hole. So we went to that, and it was like crystal clear water. No one was there. A tiny little rapid in the distance, the mountain peaks in the distance. And we got there about 30 minutes before sunset. So we were just swimming by ourselves in this crisp water while the sun was setting. And it was magical. magical. It was so pretty. I was like, how is this West Virginia? And how have we never been here? And also, how is this only like 5 hours from our house? Like, honestly, it felt like Colorado or something you'd find in the West. It was beautiful. So do all that, have our second night. We did a little campfire, made our campfire food, slept in our tent again. Second night was much cooler than the first night, so it was more pleasant to sleep in the tent. And then the next morning we did another shorter hike. It was about 1.5 miles to the Seneca Shadows like peak. So you could then go to this little, properly paved or I guess wood-made alcove to like overlook everything. And it was just awesome. And then we packed up, went to a disc golf course for Ian to do a little disc golfing that was nearby, popped over to see these beautiful waterfalls that were around the trail, got some ice cream, and then headed home. Like, doesn't that just sound like it is as good as it sounds? It was like the perfect weekend camping trip with my man, and it was lovely. It was fun that it was a secret for him. It was fun that we could do it all in a weekend. It didn't feel like too overwhelming. We didn't plan, honestly, any of it. I just kind of picked a tent campsite that looked good, and I didn't know the trails. I didn't know the swimming hole was there. I didn't know about the waterfalls. So it was just really peaceful and lovely, and I'd recommend that Seneca Shadows Campground to anyone who wants a nice, remote escape that's not too far from the Midwest. So beautiful time. So that was last weekend. And now obviously today I've got this wedding, and then the next few weeks I got to edit. I'm going to Cleveland, New York. And then we have another round of Mohican this year. Oh man. And then Michigan to visit my brother and his family. So man, it's crazy town. But now we're going to finally get into the juice of this episode, which is what else am I going to do this summer? But also what's on the summer bucket list for you? And maybe some of these things will be good ideas for you. So I'm going to go through my list of what was on my summer bucket list at the beginning of the summer, and then kind of what I've already scratched off of this list. So maybe this will inspire you to build your summer bucket list out if you haven't already, and help you get some inspo for the rest of the summer. So I have on my summer fun list, bike to get ice cream. So this is something my little brother and I have done since we were probably, preteens. We weren't close to an ice cream shop. We were probably 4 or 5 miles away from the nearest one, but somewhere around our teenage years, we decided we would bike to get ice cream. It was super fun. And we started doing that every summer. And I think we've kind of like lost track recently-ish. In the past few years, we haven't done it as, routinely. But it's still something that I love to do, whether it's that same route from my parents' house to the ice cream shop, Dairy Hut in Pataskala, or if it's something else. It's just something I like to do every summer, is ride my bike to go get ice cream. So that's on my list. Movie in the park. Whether that is a group thing. I know we live close to Columbus, Ohio, so they do movies in the park. Every once in a while you can pay, and they'll do like a huge screen next to COSI, and you can watch a film. But Ian and I might just take our little projector or even our camper van that's really old and go set that up somewhere and do that. But it's just super fun to like feel, I don't know, just like you're outdoors, you're not staying stuck inside is what I was trying to say. And you can just enjoy a film and have fun. So another one is try 2 new rooftop bars. I also already tried one. So I'm going to credit that one. That was in May. It was, what's it called? The one close to Jackie O's. It's Jackie O's in downtown Columbus. And that was so fun. I loved it. So I want to try another rooftop bar because, again, I don't want to always be stuck inside. Even if there's no AC like there is in our house right now, I want that vibe. So the other one, I said day trip hikes, which is great because we just kind of scratched that off of our list. But it wasn't really a day trip. It was a weekend trip. But yes, one spontaneous trip is on my list as well. So that's going to count for New York, I think. Swimming in the pool with a bunch of exclamation marks. I got to do that this week. I went to a public pool with some friends, and I jumped off the diving board twice and did some flips. And because I used to be a gymnast, it was really fun and unlocked my inner child. So I need to wear one piece, though, when I go to pools with, I just should wear one more because I always forget, they might have a diving board, and I don't want to be flying out when I'm in a bikini. So anyway, Another thing on my summer fun list is read 6 books. This one I think can happen. I think I'm on track for it to happen, but I'm also going to extend that it might be also listening to 6 books, because audiobooks while I'm editing photography photos, that has been like a game shift for me. Really practical, because I'm always just sitting here at my computer, and sometimes I like to watch a show while I edit, but you start looking up a little bit too much and then it doesn't feel like you're staying as focused as you could. But with audiobooks or podcasts, I'm just in the zone the whole time and the book is playing and I'm just editing, and it's great. So another one I said for my summer fun list is go naturally curly on my hair more. So that one's hard. It's not hard. It's just my hair looks like Hermione Granger's, so it's pretty frizzy. It's pretty Princess Mia. So if I don't do the proper wash, curl cream, scrunchy, diffuse combo of hair care, it just kind of puffs up in the humidity. And that routine works, but then I have to sleep on it a certain way and do the curls the whole week. And if I have something that I want to look a little more, different, not professional, I want to stop saying that, but I want to change up my vibe or use heat to make my hair look a little more smooth and bigger curls. It's hard to plan out my hair. It sounds so girly. It's hard to plan out my week when my hair is curly and vice versa. So I will be trying to go more naturally curly the rest of the summer, but it is kind of a hard thing to do when I have professional-esque events or things that I want to look a certain way for. But I also just need to get over it and be no, curly hair is natural and beautiful and it's fine. Okay. Another one that I'm already kind of failing at, but I want to continue doing or trying to do, getting outside once a day, minimum. It's the summertime and I love being outside. It's just hard, again, when you are on a computer all the time editing and you work for yourself. So I literally go from my bedroom every morning downstairs, make my coffee, grab a bite to eat, to my office. And I usually sit here all day from 9 to 5-ish and edit. And I'll give myself breaks. I'll stand up and run on the treadmill for a little bit, or, walk around the house, get up for lunch, and go to the bathroom. But most days I'm just sitting in front of my computer editing. So it makes it hard to say, with certainty, I'm going to get up and go outside and go for a walk, or I'm going to go outside and tan for a little bit, or read my book outside on my lunch break, or, leave the house for any other reason. Yeah, it just gets a little difficult to do, which it shouldn't be. I just should be getting outside more. It's just, I guess, really easy to stay in the focus zone. And I wish I had a patio with an umbrella so that I could just edit outside. And I've been looking for one on Facebook Marketplace all summer, honestly, and since last summer. And everything is either too expensive, too far away, or doesn't have all the pieces I need. It doesn't even need to be fancy. I want a grandma style glass table with a big umbrella and some chairs with cushions. That's what I want. And it doesn't have to be fancy at all, but a lot of them are just selling the umbrella for $80, or just selling the chairs and the table, but there's no cushion and there's no umbrella. And it's all that combo. But I just want something that works, that's in Columbus area that I could pick up. And then that's the other thing with Facebook Marketplace. You have to pick it up. And I need Ian's vehicle for that. And his schedule and my schedule are different. So if anyone finds one and wants to deliver to my house, I will pay you to deliver an outdoor patio set to my home, because I would love that. Okay, maybe I'll save up some money and just get one on Amazon, but I'd rather not. Another summer bucket list, find a new hobby that's not thrifting. I love that I had to specify that, because I thrift so much. It's been my main hobby. And I will say, I think I found one that could work. I went to a book club meeting with my book club a couple weeks ago, and we played pickleball. And it was so fun. And I'm not really an athletic person. I'm kind of built for athletics, but I'm not naturally good at them. So I've never been really fast with running. I've never been really stealthy with basketball. I'm not good at kicking with soccer. I tried a day of softball in high school. It was terrible. I'm just not built like that. But I was nervous about trying pickleball, because I'm is this going to be the same thing? Is this going to be high stakes and crazy? I would say tennis is like a little too big of a court, but I have potential there. And ping pong is a little too small of a table, but I have potential there. So I think pickleball has been the perfect combo. I only did it once, and I wasn't like amazing at it, but I was really good at serving. I found that out. And I was pretty good at the coordination part. So already it was like a lot of fun. And I played with some girls who are in the book club, so it was like low stakes. It wasn't like a big, oh, I'm going to go with a bunch of athletic guys who are going to make fun of me. It was like really enjoyable. And I came home and I was like, Ian, I think I found my new thing. So I want to try some more pickleball this summer. It was a lot of fun. But I think that's pretty much it for my summer bucket list. There's, I'm sure, a couple other things I could add. I love dinner parties. I'd love to host another outdoor dinner party. I did one last year and it was so fun. It was just really enjoyable. Just having friends outside, low lighting, candles, food, love it. So I want to do that again. And I want to go swimming a little bit more. It's been such a fun thing, but it's just a bummer. Like, we're not close to anyone with a pool. All of our pool owning friends are at least an hour away. And then the public pools around here get really crowded really fast, so it's not enjoyable. And on top of that, only one of our friends is at an apartment complex that has a pool, and it's under maintenance because of course it is. So it's like I have to like go about 30 minutes and then pay like $15 for a day pass to a pool. So it's fine. I guess it's like no big deal, first world problems, but you love a good pool vibe. It's so nice. Okay, so that is the longest podcast episode, ranting about my past crazy summer and my current crazy summer and what I want the rest of the summer to look like. I hope this was fun for you. I hope it inspires you to have some fun this summer. Get off your screen, get outside, be in nature, be with friends, travel, and let me know in the comments section what's on your summer bucket list. Where are you going? What are you doing? What's the vibe this summer? And I can't wait to see you until next time. Bye.